After recent chapters, a curious claim has been made that Monkey the Dragon is nothing like his son and his father, because Dragon is not willing to save his own underlings. This idea that you can spat on me, you can spill your drink on me, but for good reason or not, you can never hurt my friends, is the core message of One Piece that we observed that since chapter 1. This moral code is the reason that all the Straw Hats came together and we have a story. For example, if anybody would dare to insult any of the Roger member, the captain would turn into an actual monster and slaughter entire armies because they merely insulted one of his crewmates. We all know what happened when world government dared to kidnap Robin. Luffy and all of the Straw Hats risked their life proudly to take her back. Shanks, the person who taught this moral code to Luffy, sacrificed an arm to prove this point to him. Garp was ready to take on an entire Yonko organization to save his beloved pupil, and he was willing to pay the ultimate price. And we all remember that a sick and old Goatbeard went and faced off against the strongest united force in the entire ocean so he can save his own son. And he died with no regrets, knowing that he did everything that he could have done as a father for his sons. So people might assume it is a very legitimate claim when they say Dragon didn't do anything when Ginny, a person that entrusted her life to Dragon, was captured by a celestial dragon. Dragon did absolutely nothing, and for this video I wanna say he did the right thing. I know you're way too busy subscribing, ringing the bell, and liking the video, but pay attention because this is a moral debate. Let's dig deep into the personality and the role of Dragon that make him the greatest leader in the story so far. I suppose the biggest reason that people misjudge Dragon is the fact that we see nothing from his personality and power and backstory, and the fact that he is a unique individual in the story. Luffy's main dream is not to merely become the Pirate King or even the freest person on Earth. Luffy's dream is to create a family and find it on the sea. We all know that when push comes to shove, Luffy will throw away any dream for the sake of saving the life of his friends. Garp's dream for the longest time was to create a new strong generation of Marine so they can carry the justice. In fact, Garp stated, when you have to decide between saving an old person and a young person, it is your moral duty to let the old man die and preserve the future. And we all know Dream of Whitebeard got nothing to do with being a great pirate or even a pirate king. Whitebeard grew up without knowing the feeling that what it's like to have a father figure in your life or a family. So his main dream was to be father to the fatherless and create the family he never had. So let me start by saying Luffy, Garp, and Whitebeard are not necessarily noble when they risk their own life to save their own underling. Saving their own underling is more important to them than their own life. This is part of their identity and dream and not their merely moral obligation. Not to mention, for example, in the case of Luffy, it is far easier to deeply care about 10 people than an entire army. But Dragon's dream is not defined by any individual. His dream is to keep fighting for freedom until he can end the tyranny of the celestial dragons. Let's not forget that Dragon abandoned his own son Luffy so he can fight for freedom, and he turned his back against the hero of the Marine and the organization that his father is most proud of by being a revolutionary. He abandoned his father, he abandoned his son. This man doesn't care about any individual. And odds are he probably did the same to his wife, assuming that his wife is not dead by celestial dragons. Dragon is unique in the world of One Piece because he has a different dream compared to any other people. The dream of pirates is to be a pirate king, or at worst case scenario, they want to overthrow the world. And the dream of every Marine is that even if they understand that this system is corrupt, they can do whatever it takes to protect the civilian life against the villainy of pirates. But now we know almost all of those dreams are meaningless, because even the rock Stizebek himself was not capable of overthrowing the entire world government, knowing that now we have Im-sama, 5 demon king who have conquered Asaki and a mythical Zoan, all of the Holy Knights, and in every generation a very mighty marine, CP9, and an entire world army. World government cannot be overthrown by any pirates throughout the history. But now we have a man who doesn't just want to go against marine or even world government, but celestial dragons themselves. His goal is different from every individual in the story of One Piece. So this man cannot afford to go to the red line so he can fight against Celestial Dragon when he would have lost 100%. For example, let's talk about another man who went to the red line and saved a lot of slaves. It was Fisher Tiger. And while Fisher Tiger is one of the most noblest and bravest individuals in the story, he could in fact afford losing his life, because his main goal was merely saving few lives, while Dragon Dream is saving billions of lives. I said it many times that even right now, Revolutionary Army is not even comparable to any of the Yonko organizations. The idea that 10 years ago they were strong enough to pick a war with government is preposterously ridiculous. A man like Whitebeard did go to war against Marine and Warlord to save one of his children, but he also lost everything that he had in that process. And the power of government is much more mightier than the power that Whitebeard faced in Marineford War. I'm not being a heartless bastard, I'm just saying that I am sick and tired of people having impossible moral expectations from character and judge them when they don't do the most basic logical things. Dragon is doing what every single great military leader in the entire history of mankind did. What type of a leader is he if he risked the life of thousands for saving one? Not to mention he risked the entire existence of freedom fighter and revolutionary army in the process. In fact, Dragon is reminding me of Ousen, a character in the Kingdom manga. And if you haven't read Kingdom manga, let me, Rock's Review, vouch with every bit of my honor that the Kingdom manga is as engaging as One Piece itself. If you love a historical war, go and read it and you will not regret it. In that manga, we have a general called Ousen, a serious character who aims for the top, and he will never ever engages in a battle unless he is certainly sure that he will win it. And I believe that is actually the type of leader that Dragon from One Piece is. For example, when Blackbeard Teach attacked the main base of Dragon, he wasn't like a proud man who would stand up and fight against Teach. He ran away because wasting men and resources to fight Teach wasn't part of his plan. And even right now, after 20 years of waiting, he is not engaging in close combat. He is declaring his war against Celestial Dragon by cutting the food supply of the Celestial Dragons. He's not basing his war based on manpower and wasting life. He's basing that on strategy. Dragon is a conscious man who will never allow his emotions get the best of him, and that makes him a perfect general. It's sad to admit, but even if Ginny was somebody very close to Dragon himself, letting this woman suffer by the hand of Celestial Dragon and not wage war against the Celestial Dragons at the wrong time and waste thousands of lives was the right call. In fact, the idea that thousands or tens of thousands of people die so one person who's not even that important survive is the immoral call. We care about Ginny because we care about their story, we care about Kuma, and we like her to suffer less. But if we're gonna have an objective moral decision, the life of every single person who's gonna die saving her is almost exactly as important as Ginny. Why should thousands die so one person survive? Dragon case is very different from every other case that I just argued. For example, Whitebeard was willing to pay the price because Whitebeard crew was a family. It is very normal for a family to risk their life to save yet another member of their crew. But Revolutionary Army is an actual army. In the army, every life is equal and people should not die to save another person who was captured or left behind the lines. Not to mention, even Whitebeard himself refused to take revenge from Kaido because Oden was already dead and he did not want to risk his men's life to fight for a lost cause. Same for Shanks. I would argue both Prime Whitebeard and Shanks had the opportunity of killing Kaido, but why would they risk the balance of the world and the life of their own men to win a lost cause? I kind of feel like this video is sponsored by Green Bull, but this is the truth of the heartless military world. As a military leader, it is your moral obligation to care about the end goal and not the life of every individual he is under your command. Ignoring your own personal emotions so you can care about the end goal is your duty. So not only I won't blame Dragon for not going into a pointless war, I salute him for making the right call. I know most moral debates are generally pointless, and the format that I'm doing it, from me from this side of camera and you from that side of camera, it's not really a very effective term. So I perfectly understand if you absolutely disagree with me, and if you have any points, do not forget to comment and I will read it. If you enjoyed this type of moral debates and going in depths of character, do not forget to comment more moral and I will know you like this type of subject. Because at the end of the day, Dragon, Shanks, Whitebeard, Luffy, they are not just painting on a paper. They are ideas, and debating about ideas will enrich the soul and mind of all of us. So I love doing it and I love reading your comments about it. I hope you enjoyed this video and I see you all at Lapdale.